think I'm almost done with the zone, Feather.
That's good to know. Shadow Moon Valley.
Yeah, I noticed on the quest log, which apparently got merged with the map,
Yeah.
it says story progress 5 of 7 chapters. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, it gives you an idea of how long you're going to be trapped here.
So I just gotta get these chapters. I think I'm just
I am
done here.
I'm on 2 of 7, but my gloves are broken. I still don't know how to repair them.
I am in, I'm like in a personal instance basically right now.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you're like in an event quest.
Event area type.
Repair guy. You're not a guy, you're a girl.
Guys everywhere. Oh my.
A repair lady. I repaired.
Tentacles everywhere.
Oh, hey, that's the quest I was on when you were doing like your phased area to get into WOD.
Wait, shouldn't you have done this a long time ago? You're like level 100.
I skipped a lot of the zone because I out-leveled it. And then I came back at 100 to get money.
Okay.
Out-leveled a lot of zones, actually. Like, I still haven't been to Spires of Eric. I don't know what's in Tannin Jungle or what it is, and I think Frostfire Ridge is Horde only.
Somebody in
Shadow Moon's like ours only.
Somebody in Trade Channel said that the Tannin Jungle is not completed.
Huh.
Man,
that
I'm getting
explains a lot about
flamethrowered.
why I can't go there. Oh, God.
He's using an
This is
ability.
the part where you burninate the countryside.
No, this guy's burninating the countryside, though. I gotta say, he really likes fire.
Uh-huh. Man after my own heart. Nibblers. Toddling nibblers.
Come on, guy. I don't want to dodge everything. Uh-oh.
I will say that the hardest part about relearning mage is trying to remember to summon my water elemental. Ever.
Oh, yeah. I really liked mage back in the day. But back in the days like Vanilla and Burning Crusade.
I got one to 85. I have an 85 Blood Elf Mage somewhere on Nazjatar. Or Azjol Naru, whichever one we ended on.
I don't know, but I'm starting to notice that I actually have to dodge these abilities if I don't want to just die.
Yeah, it's like Pandaria. Don't take those lightly. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, because for me...
maybe I have to be 100, but it feels like I'm missing something.
For me, I enjoyed kiting,
Right. You don't have to kite anymore, though.
I'm dead.
At least
Are
I don't
serious?
think so.
I'm dead. What is going on in this fight?
You being a scrublet?
Probably. Yeah, that's what I wanted to raise. Why, it doesn't ask you if you want to raise anymore, it just raises you?
It depends. Some areas have like a timed res, like Battlegrounds do. So it might have just brought you up.
I think the problem is that I'm standing in fires.
Oh.
Right.
You still have that problem then.
I haven't played this game in a while.
Uh-huh. That's not going to bode well for dungeons.
I've been playing games that don't rely on fires and the standing of being in them.
What game is that?
Everything else.
Except Minecraft.
Was there fires in Final Fantasy 14? That's the last MMO I played.
Kind of in the sense that there were conics and stuff, but mostly the tank had to dodge.
There were a lot different. I thought the mechanics were a little different.
Yeah, you didn't.
The demon wall.
Yeah, those were more about those boss fights were fun.
Those are pretty good.
Those boss fights were events. Like actual, real. There's a tornado up here.
Those are actually rather challenging if you were unprepared and undergeared. It's this guy's flamethrower ability just does ridiculous damage. And I'm like always in front of it, rather hilariously.
What class were you then?
In what?
FF14.
I was white mage.
Okay.
Wasn't I?
I know. All I remember is
Ow.
I was warrior, bard, and paladin. Because all I did was tank and pretend to be a bard.
Come on, dude. I don't want all these ads.
Metal and powers beyond your comparison.
Hobbs was a ranger.
There's a very hostile tornado here attacking me. Hobbs was a ranger, although I think he was Myrak.
I was Arcanist. That's what I was. I was Arcanist.
That's right. Summoning one.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, those mechanics are different.
Sorry, not white mage. You were a white mage.
I don't remember anything about anything.
Yep, you were a white mage.
I also had paladin though, and warrior.
Yeah, you did. Okay, I did the fight right. I don't know what this was. This was a trial by fire. Ha 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 ha.
Ha.
No, seriously, it was though. This must be like, hey, if you can't kill this guy with the flamethrower, you really have no business being in dungeons. Which is hilarious because you are on your mage for that explicit purpose, are you not?
I am on my mage for the explicit purpose of either watching you die or yes, running a dungeon.
Because you are now, you're no longer Feather. You have a new name,
I am Alexia.
Alexia, with an E.
Merrymaker Alexia, because apparently that's the title I chose in my life.
Solid
So-
title.
Let's change that title immediately. 'Cause that's terrible. I lied. I am now Alexia the Hollowed.
Very nice, very nice. What is that from though?
I have
That
no
title?
idea. I think it's Halloween.
Right, but is that like a specific event of Halloween?
I think it was like you completed everything because you're a massive nerd, so here have a title.
Oh,
That's it. That's that title.
but I've done Halloween every year. At least it feels like it. I don't have that title.
Here, I'll go find it. Here, I'll go browser it instead of it very painfully trying to sift through a non-searchable achievement menu.
Gonna go look on Wikipedia.
Yeah, Wikipedia.
Right, it's a very professional article. You can make it.
I'll
You
go
know.
on Google Scholar. You need to complete
Go
all
find
the
white paper.
Hollows End achievements.
Okay, so does that involve getting the mount though?
I don't know.
That involves collecting the masks
I had
and
to
stuff, doesn't
visit
it?
I had to visit like every single trick or treat point, get all the masks. Basically every little thing.
I have an unread mail from the WoW dev team,
All right.
so that must be WoW's anniversary.
10th anniversary.
It has been 10. Somehow it has been 10 years. That's kind of scary, actually, because that amount of
Happy
time has
birthday, WoW.
passed in a.
In a very short amount of time.
I'm dead.
How'd you die?
I don't know. I think I stood in the fire again.
What is wrong with you?
I'm looking at my combat log. It says, "What happened to me?" I got hit by many meteors. Let's just leave it at that, or meteorites,
Uh-huh.
more accurately. Yeah. So we're getting into this dungeon, and yeah, we're gonna get raged against. Well, me. I better get I better get these mechanics down, right?
That name contains mature language. Enter a new name.
What are you? What name for what? Your water elemental?
My pet. I'm
Mature
trying to-
language? What kind of name are you giving it?
Mr. Khadgar.
That's mature language.
Apparently.
It doesn't sound very mature.
Uh,
Sounds pretty immature. So, like we were talking about, it's WoW's 10-year.
what were we talking about before you died and shifted over to dungeons?
Well, you know, when you die, you know, I'm a role player at heart, so
Method actor, yeah.
I felt like I couldn't die. You know, I mean,
Right.
well, yeah, I did feel like I couldn't
That-
die,
that
but I
shook
felt
you-
like
that
I felt
shook
like
you
once I
completely out of
died,
the immersion.
I just you can't talk when you're dead. You know, dead men don't
Yeah.
speak.
They tell no tales.
Exactly.
So
There are
10-year
many
anniversary.
proverbs. 10-year anniversary. We well, actually, I don't remember who joined WoW first, but actually, we all joined. We all joined within about a week.
Yeah.
We all joined within about a week. Not too long after it came out.
Mm-hmm.
So it came out in November. I think we started like in January. I mean, sorry, December. I forgot the order of the months for a second.
Okay.
And so we were there pretty early. And it was not our first MMO because we had been playing Final Fantasy 11. And before that, do you
Okay.
remember what we played before that?
RuneScape.
We played RuneScape. Very nice. That's
We
actually
paid for RuneScape.
we did. We paid for RuneScape. That was the first MMO I ever played, and
Yep.
I really didn't know anything about the MMO concept. I had heard of EverQuest.
I don't think I was aware RuneScape was an MMO until we left it. I don't know what I thought it was. But
Right. Well,
I didn't have a concept, right? I didn't have a label for it.
yeah, right. The most online play we've done up to that point was like Diablo 2
Mm-hmm.
and StarCraft, smaller groups. So I had fun in RuneScape. I don't know about you.
I liked it.
Although in hindsight, it was extremely grindy. I have to say, if I was reviewing it, it'd have 1 star out of 10 easily. It's just. I remember just sitting there and
It's
fishing
enticing.
and fishing
It's
and fishing and
enticing.
fishing and fishing.
But you know what? It was that or do your homework. And I
No,
had to be like,
I always did my homework first.
I had
you
to
know.
be like 12 or 13 playing RuneScape.
So yeah, we came to WoW not from RuneScape. RuneScape was actually short-lived. We only played it for like a year.
Mm-hmm.
So what we
And then we
really
went to
played before
FF11.
that was FF11. Now, from what I recall, we actually weren't hardcore FF11 yet.
I don't think we even got to the level cap.
Right. That was our first encounter with Final Fantasy 11. If for those who don't know what FF11 is, Final Fantasy 11 Online. It released in the United States, I think, a year after its release in Japan. And I think it released in the United States with the first expansion, Rise of Zilart.
Yes.
And that was, for all intents and purposes, our first real massively multiplayer online RPG in the sense of being heavily based off EverQuest.
Mm-hmm.
And
That whole model.
I did not get to the level cap. I remember I played a white mage, by the way. I had unlocked some of the more expensive classes and stuff, or jobs, actually. That's what they're called. But I only got to level 67, I believe. Something very close around there.
My story is much sadder.
And I know you were playing a thief back when
I
thief
joined.
was really bad.
I joined like a month after you did because I was tentative. I wasn't sure I was gonna like this kind of gaming, etc. So I let you join. You guys were having a lot of fun. I joined up. I made a thief. Went to Valkyrie Dunes. Spent like hours and hours looking for a party. That's actually true. If anyone knows that meme, that is an actual, truly defined meme. Of horror and tears.
The Valkyrie Dune. That was a
Valkyrie Dune's
weed
on a
out
thief
program.
before 30 is you'll never get a party before 30 on thief.
It's kind of like going to college, where the first year it's like a bunch of weed out classes to get rid of people. That's what Valkyrie Dunes was.
I painfully got my way to 30, and I unlocked Dragoon, and I got Dragoon to about 25, and I quit because you guys had already quit. So I was done.
Yeah.
I got lonely. I can't do MMOs by myself.
I don't remember why I quit Final Fantasy 11 for the first time, but I think it has a lot to do with WoW coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Because at the time I was fed up with searching for parties.
And this was advertised as like a game where you could actually go up by yourself.
Yeah,
you could have some
right.
adventures alone.
And it was based off Warcraft 3, of course, and it being a Blizzard game.
Mm-hmm.
There were very high expectations for it. And for those who aren't aware, Final Fantasy XI Online, the original game, was incredibly grindy. I mean, what you basically did was sat in town and wait to join what was called an experience party, where you killed monsters that were like, raid bosses, basically, for XP. And you had to kill them fast enough to chain them together. So if you killed them too slow, you didn't get the bonus chain XP, and your party was terrible. Also, when you died, you could level down. You could lose your XP. I will say, because of the weed out nature of it, if you got to the high levels in that game, everybody was a very good player, assuming they didn't buy their accounts, Oh
yeah, if you actually managed it, you were you were pretty good. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah, and so WoW offered something completely different.
It was.
And so yeah, we came over to 10
It
years
was
ago. That was a long time ago.
14, almost 15 when this game released.
Yeah, so I was 17 years old when this game came out. I probably neglected my grades to play.
I almost failed U.S. history.
Yeah,
I remember it.
I
remember it very clearly. I don't know if you do. I
No, I don't. I mean,
I
I don't
hated
remember
U.S.
specifics.
history. I hated that teacher, and I just stopped doing that work because I wanted to play WoW.
Who'd you have as your? Do you remember the teacher?
No,
I had
I don't
missed
remember her
someone.
name.
She was actually
was-
good though.
She was some. I don't know who she was. I know she had like beehive hair and talked with a really whiny tone.
No.
Very southern
Yeah.
accent.
Yeah, I don't know who that was.
She wasn't a bad teacher. She just, I don't know. She didn't connect with me, so had problems. So yeah, WoW almost made me fail my first class. It's the first class I ever got a C in as opposed to an A.
Yeah.
It was very sad.
So my first
It taught me a valuable lesson.
my first character was a human rogue, and I didn't know what a rogue was, so I kept spelling it Rouge. You know,
Human Rouge.
I remember that very specifically because people would get all over you in chat. Back when people actually typed in chat, so like in vanilla WoW, it's like TeamSpeak and stuff wasn't that common in Skype, and so people actually like typed in the chat box, like something that's completely dead. And the servers had their own communities, and the game was actually fairly difficult. I remember running out of quests at around level 55, and I had to grind the
Scholomance.
zombies. No, you could not do that. It was too hard. I was grinding the zombies in Western Plaguelands to level up to 60.
Oh God.
Because way back then, the high-end zones only had like 2 quests. The game wasn't, the game shipped uncompleted.
Right.
And that was the days when UBRS was 15 man, I think, or 20 man. I don't remember. Honestly, it's
Yeah.
been too long. And Scholomance was 10 man, I think. Stratholme was 10 man. Those were very long dungeons. The game was very difficult too. I remember there were a lot of groups that could not get to Baron in time. And then that was in the days where the entire instance would respawn. Remember? Do you remember that?
Yeah. There were times where
Oh,
you'd go into Molten Core or UBRS, any dungeon, and if the first enemies were respawned, you just call it.
Yeah, I mean, they've removed a lot of that since then. Vanilla WoW was...
It's worth noting those are the days when you couldn't just run into like a group of trash mobs and destroy them. You had to take the time to sheep one,
Right.
sap another.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And this led to very interesting scenarios because 2 of the end game dungeons in Vanilla WoW were Stratholme and Scholomance, which had undead in it. This made it so priests were extremely important for Shackle Undead. And so I had, my second character was a priest because I explicitly leveled it up. He was an undead because of how widely demanded they were.
Really?
Yeah. A paladin healer at that point was viable, but not that great. And then a druid just hurt you. A druid healer just hurt you because without Shackle Undead, the trash mobs were very difficult. The small DPS increase from those trash mobs would wipe the group.
I remember that because I leveled druid, so I remember all the horror of just not being wanted in higher level parties.
So the game was nothing like how WoW is. I don't know how WoW is now because we haven't done a dungeon yet. But it wasn't anything like the last few expansions I played where you can pretty much just run into the group and spam heals and spam your tank abilities and wipe through it. And then the only challenge is the bosses. In Vanilla WoW, just getting through the dungeons was pretty painful. And actually, clearing trash in the dungeons was the closest that Vanilla WoW got to Final Fantasy XI's job grind. Don't you think so?
Yeah.
Where you had to know you really had to know what you were doing just to kill normal monsters. Now, once you geared up, I mean, the instances got much easier. But it took a long time to get there. And there was no token system. So you would run it and the shaman chest piece would drop.
And there were no shamans on Alliance. So you're just kind of like, grats, nobody.
The whole game was broken too. I don't remember if Spirit was either useless or incredibly powerful.
Spirit was kind of.
There was no, like,
It's hard to explain Spirit. I used to max it and it gave me infinite mana on the one hand, but your
Yeah.
mana was small, so really only druids could do it.
and druid healers weren't that wanted back then. Neither were paladin healers. As a matter of fact, one of my biggest memories is paladins gearing up using the priest's devout set
Yeah.
to prep for molten core because there was no healing plate.
Oh.
And as a
Cloth
matter of fact,
paladins.
sometimes they wore male shaman drops.
Yeah. No one else is gonna wear them.
So yeah, vanilla WoW was a very, very different beast than it is today. Almost every quest was a fetch quest or a kill 10 quest. There weren't
Mhm.
these interactive cutscenes and stuff. And oh, you know what? Vanilla WoW had weapon skill. Do you remember that?
Leveling my
So-
fist skill.
So yeah,
Very quickly.
for those not aware, there used to be weapon skills in WoW, which would start at like level 1. So let's say you level your Rouge all the way to the cap using daggers, and then a cool mace drops, and you start using it, you're gonna not hit anything. Everything's gonna be
For
a
a
glancing
long
blow.
time.
I don't know if they still have glancing blows.
I
So
don't-
you had to sit there and level up your mace skill. And you couldn't just go like to the Eastern Plaguelands and whack level 60s. They would kill you because you can't hit them. So it was just like leveling your weapon skills in Final Fantasy 11, actually. You had to go, start on lower level guys and work your way up.
Oh, those were the days.
So I have a lot of memories of 10 years ago.